So we're going to try something a little bit different tonight. I'm going to tell a story in the first person, as if I was there. This should get interesting. So here we go. Give me 1 second. So, getting ready. I think this is about the voice. So I gotta get into I watched her from across the street, leaning against a lamp post. I lit a cigarette, tried not to stand out too much. I've been following her for a while now, watching her go from one flop house or rat motel to the next. But this one will be special because this is where she goes from being my subject to being my muse. You know, I'm gonna have to approach her a little bit more. These things, after all, take a special touch. I see her going to the hotel down the block. And that's when I decide I'm gonna go get my car. It's a really nice car, after all. Maybe that'll make the great impression. I'll wait a little bit. Start the engine. Slowly press on the gas. Roll up to the front of the hotel just to see she's coming out. I look over at her and introduce myself. I tell her that I'm an artist and I would like her to be the subject of my masterpiece. She looks around, not too sure at first. Then I tell her it's a pain gig. I can tell, as pretty as she is, she hasn't had a lot of money recently. Not a lot of success. After all, I have been following her for days, going from audition to audition to casting call to casting call. She smiles as she jumps into the passenger seat. Take her to my home, where my gallery is, my artist studio. my workshop, if you will. I can see that she's nervous, so I'll give her something to drink to relax her, set her at ease. For after all, she's about to become my masterpiece. I want her to be the right friend of mine. I worked through the night. Like I imagine the masters of old, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, absolutely consumed with the piece before me. Seems like before I know it, the first little twilight of the morning sun, not quite over the nearby mountains, has hit the little window in my workshop. My masterpiece is finished. I lovingly wrap it in paper and set it in the back seat of my car. I take it to where the installation's going to be, an empty block, on a nowhere street in nowhere town. I unwrap my masterpiece and set it in the field. And I go almost a block up the street to this little cafe that's just opened. Next to this empty lot. So that I can sit in the window and watch things progress. Watch all the admirers of my masterpiece. Sip at my coffee and light up a cigarette, watching the crowd start to gather. Man, this is a bigger hit than I imagined. Such a big hit, in fact, that even the police are there to admire my work. And it's almost time to go. I laugh to myself as I whisper, time is short. I get up and I pay my check, and I leave. Time is short. Elizabeth Short. The Black Dahlia. Kind of start to worry that maybe this masterpiece is too modern from 1947 in Los Angeles. But then again, that's what I kind of always heard about my buddy Manny Food. Oh well. I get in my car and I start her up and drive away, leaving my masterpiece behind to be admired by all. I go to my day job, half expecting people to show up to ask me about my masterpiece, but no one ever comes. That's the thing about being an anonymous artist. All of the joy has to come into the appreciation, not the acknowledgement. Well, maybe something will be in the paper later. Man was alright. It's all over the newspapers. Not just one or two, but all of them. Everybody's talking about my masterpiece. Only they're calling it murder. Potato, potato, I guess. They begun to call her the Black Dahlia. Read the papers, my mind drifts back to the screams. The muted screams because of the drugs I gave her in a glass of wine. They got cut and cut. The same she made when I cut her in half. No, they call it murder. I guess they don't get it. Maybe one day they will. I think it's about time for me to go to a new place, a new town, to find a new muse. Maybe another Black Dahlia. Signing off for now. Take care, dear friends. Enjoy my work. That, by the way, is what I imagine must have been going through the mind of the killer of Elizabeth Sharp. Just pieced together from the clues and from things I've heard from profilers and things I know about that, well, they're public information now, but at the time, they... What? What do you want? Sorry. Puppy's being a pain in the ass. I still love you, though. In any case, so yeah, piecing it together from clues that were on the scene, on the body, actually, and you know what I've heard from profilers that have done recent profiles of the case, not the. I mean, profiling wasn't really a thing back then, but not what the suppositions were of the officers on the case at the time, because, and here's something I want to point out. I think there's a couple reasons why the Black Dahlia was never solved. One of those reasons is, at the time, forensic science was extremely limited. They didn't know about DNA yet. They were barely okay with fingerprints. And, like, doing, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Fabric and material analysis wasn't much of a thing yet either. at least not on a local level. And, FBI weren't involved in this case at all, so, like, they didn't have that particular weapon to wield. And so that was part of it. I think the other part of it is that there were other murders committed against women at the time. There was a killer already being written about in LA called the Werewolf Killer or the Lipstick Killer. And he would kill these women and then write messages in lipstick on the body. And they called him the werewolf because of how badly ravaged these women were. But for some reason they never connected the Black Dahlia to these killings because she was the only one that was bisected. She was literally cut in half through her abdomen. And so they're thinking it's like a separate killer, despite the fact that there's a message in lipstick on her body. So I don't know if they were thinking copycat or what, I don't know. But, yeah, those are the main reasons I think it was never solved. Although we have, and they had at the time, a very strong suspect in Dr. George Hodel, who, before they could issue subpoenas or warrants or what have you, he had fled the country and went to Peru. And they never saw him again. And the other suspect, I think, is very likely is none other than Edward Wayne Edwards. In recent years, I've begun to have a little bit more doubt about it with him, simply because there's like an established pattern with him, right? And I've talked about it before on my show. I don't really want to get into the whole Edward Wayne Edwards of it all again, but most of his killings followed a pattern, right? So, like, we believe that he was actually the Zodiac in the late 50s, 60s, or whatever it was in Northern California. And we know that Edwards was there through, like, documentation. Like, he had a local library card. He had, utility bills in his name in the area, etc., right? Plus, the murders that he actually confessed to, or four of the 5 murders he confessed to, were much like the Zodiac. They were nearly, well, with the exception of Tim Drew and Kelly Hecht in Wisconsin, and I may have that actually backwards. It might be Tim Hecht and Kelly Drew. I can't remember. But in any case, they were killed in the same way, but the what's the word I'm looking for? The geography of it was different, because the other 2 that he confessed to was a Lover's Lane killing, which is what all of the Zodiac killings were. They were Lover's Lane killings, where, like, he would come across couples in the car at a Lover's Lane somewhere, and he'd
killed him. And I'm not going to get into all the gory details of that. If you want to know more, you can look those up. But the MO and the victimology match the Zodiac. And we know he was in the area at the time of those killings. Once again. So, my point being is, like, he would do, like, Lover Lane killings for a while, and then he'd go off and do a different type of killing. Like, he'd kill children. And then, he would manipulate the evidence so that he was essentially framing somebody else for his crimes. And he would do this over and over again. And he'd go back from one victimology to another, back and forth. The reason that I kind of come to doubt he might be the Black Dahlia murderer is because in his like whole history, there was only one other killing that kind of resembled it. And that happened actually when he was a child in Ohio. There's a murder that took place in Cleveland where somebody was cut in half, but this time I believe it was a man. But he would have only been maybe 8 years old at the most, I think, at the time. Maybe not even that. And so, I think he was 3, now that I think about it, which is, it's kind of too young to pull that one off, because, like, that's gonna take some strength and some force to, like, cut somebody in half. That's really beyond what a 3-year-old can do. So, I have begun to doubt it, but and, anyways, I think George Hodel is actually a likely suspect for that particular crime. He was friends with an artist by the name of Man Ray. And Man Ray did kind of like these disturbing photography pieces. Like one of his more famous ones, and it's where they think he actually got the idea, was a picture of a female mannequin in 2 separate pieces. So like the torso and the legs were separated. The DNA could have been degraded, or it was only DNA on a leather apron. Somebody else could have grabbed the leather apron or whatever. You know how these fucktards are. They like to fucking naysay everything. But do we know that it was him? Kinda, yeah. I mean, can we prove it? Not so much, but we take what we can get. Anyways, that's about all the time I have. I pack my tribe. Until next time, peace out.